Hey everyone, today I'd like to share with you 10 awesome games that you can only buy physically on the Nintendo Switch. That sounds good to you? Then let's check it out. Okay, so the first game we're going to talk about today, it's Super Mario 3D All-Stars. Now this game includes Super Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine, and Super Mario Galaxy. Now I gotta say, these three games packed into one compilation like this, really outstanding game collection to have. So this was put out by Nintendo a few years ago, and they quickly announced thereafter that they were going to discontinue this, meaning there weren't going to be any more copies available in production ever again. And at the time, I remember thinking, I don't need to buy this because I own all three games on the respective systems already. I don't really need to put in the money to get this. Stupid me. So the second Nintendo announced that this was discontinued, prices started to skyrocket. I remember there was a time when you couldn't even find this thing for less than $100. I fortunately was able to get a used copy already open for about $80, which is a fair price. The price has more or less been the same in recent years. It's crept up slightly, but this is definitely one to get before it gets even harder to find. So going in and playing this again, reliving some of these games, Nintendo 64's Super Mario 64 was one of my favorite games of all time. I still remember the feeling as a kid popping this in, seeing Mario in a 3D environment like we'd never seen before. I mean, sure, Super Mario World was an outstanding game, but this really upped the ante of the possibilities for what Mario could do. And I remember just having so much fun jumping into the pictures or the paintings to enter the new worlds, exploring all the secrets within the castle and everything that was hidden, and just the general story of, oh man, here we go, Peach has been kidnapped again by Bowser. How are we going to save her and get her back? And you had to face Bowser like 3 different times throughout the game. Really awesome experience. And I remember this is one of the few games out there at the time where I did everything. I collected every star, did everything that you could possibly do. Spoiler alert, I found the secret Yoshi up on top of the Peach's castle, which for the longest time we didn't know if that was a rumor or if it was true. I can confirm it's true. He's up there. And then with the rest of these games, so, Super Mario Sunshine, I own that game on the GameCube. I never played it. I remember the reason why was that when GameCube was out and it was really putting out games, I was a teenager, and all of my friends at the time, we were either big into PlayStation 2 or the Xbox. Nintendo was kind of viewed at the time as that kiddie, less mature console out there. So games like Super Mario Sunshine were overlooked by me and some other gamers at that time. I've played a little bit of it on this compilation, but I've not actually gone through and beaten it. This will be the way that I play it, though, on this compilation. I don't really feel like going back and booting up the GameCube to play it when I can take this handheld mode in the Switch and play that way, so that's how I'm going to play through it. Now, Super Mario Galaxy, that's a game I did play back in the day on the Wii. I don't really remember it as well as I remember some of the other Mario games like Super Mario 64. And I don't know if that's because it's not as good a game or if it's just where I was at that point in time in life. With Super Mario 64, I was still a kid living at home, going to school. I didn't really have a whole lot to do outside of going to school and social activities, sports. So gaming was a big part of what I did, big part of my memories. When the Wii came out, I was in college. I had other things going on, other life events. So I don't really remember as much of Super Mario Galaxy as maybe others might. But I will definitely go back and replay it on this compilation as well. Again, you can get all three of these games respectively on their systems, but for the compilation of the three packed together as one, you can physically only get this right here on Nintendo Switch. So I recommend you pick yourself up a copy if you don't have that already. Next up, this game needs no introduction. It was one of the biggest games during the pandemic. It is Animal Crossing New Horizons. So if you're not familiar with the Animal Crossing games, they're very chill and laid back. They're known for their slower pace. They're known for just taking your time, exploring your own island, exploring your friends' islands through Game Link invites, and just seeing what else is out there in the world. Now with these games, I tend to play them for 10 or 20 hours, and then I kind of just lose interest. It's happened with every single Animal Crossing game I've played. They're still outstanding, but they don't really pull me into the full time suck like they do other people. I tend to, go around and dig up things in the star marks on the sand, see what kind of treasure I can find, sell it, use that money to buy things. I always like filling up the museum with the curated collection and seeing what else I can do to upgrade either my house or other buildings in the area. So that's kind of been what I do. And then when I feel like I'm at a lull, I kind of just stop. But I'd love to go back and explore this a little bit more and see what other people have done since this game came out, especially the ability to explore other people's islands. And there's a lot of customization too within the houses. So you can choose your own wallpaper, your own furniture. There's different stuff that comes on sale certain days or certain things that are only available seasonally. Like, for example, you could find Christmas trees or Halloween decorations. There's a lot of fun stuff that you could do. I think it's a fun game, fun series. And once again, you can only get a physical copy of this on the Nintendo Switch. Next up, a game that is another Nintendo property, a Nintendo exclusive. This is Fire Emblem Three Houses. So this was admittedly the first Fire Emblem game I've ever played. And it was interesting. It takes place in a real-time strategy sort of game. Basically, the story follows three different houses that have they follow different families that have split up the map. And you basically have three kingdoms. You have an empire, a kingdom, and then a alliance of different towns, cities, states, whatever, called the Leicester Alliance. So basically, there's these three groups. You get to choose which one that you want to support during the game, and you become a member of their house as you play through. Now, this game has a lot of rich narrative and stuff. There's a lot of backstory built in with the characters. You can play it three different times, and each of your experiences will be completely different depending on which house you pick. So at the time when I played through, I played with the Empire and went through that way. I have not yet played through as the Kingdom or the Alliance. Be interesting to see how those stories differ. But what's really cool about these Fire Emblem games is the characters that follow you, like the little side characters, the supporting cast, I should say. If they happen to die in battle, that's it. They're gone. You can't use them anymore. So it really makes your strategy you put in when you actually play the game. You have to be very intentional and thoughtful with how you place your characters, how you choose to go to battle. And I really like that strategy element that came with this game. So it was nice to be able to think tactically about how I'm going to stage my characters, think about who you want to get experience to level up, protect certain ones from certain attacks or hits. So it was very interesting, and there's a lot of replayability in terms of choosing your playstyle. We're even trying to, I don't want to say speed run, but the game counts the number of turns it takes you to finish a battle. So if it takes you 19 turns one time, you go back and say, oh, maybe I can do this in 9. Let's try that. So I like that about this game. I put in a lot of hours in this. This was mentioned in one of my other videos of my top 10 most played games. I think I put over 70 hours or something in this game, if I'm remembering correctly. It was a fun experience. It does make me want to go back and revisit some of the other Fire Emblem games that I might have missed and really kind of go deeper into all the different stories. So again, this was my entry. It was a very good entry for me personally. And if you're looking to get into Fire Emblem, this is a good place to start. Next up, we have Luigi's Mansion 3. So I own Luigi's Mansion on the GameCube. I've actually never played that game, though. And then I own Luigi's Mansion 2 on either the DS or the 3DS. I think it was a 3DS game. I played it over there. I don't recall actually beating it, but I got pretty far in the Dark Moon game. This game I started to boot up recently and play through. I started playing through it just to capture the game footage for this video, but as I played through it really sucked me in and made me want to play even more. So I've been playing this a lot lately, and I've gotten probably halfway through the game. Now, in this game, it's cool because you actually have Luigi as the main star of the show, which, as you're aware with the other Mario games, is typically Mario that takes the spotlight. So it's nice to have Luigi in the spotlight for a little bit of this. And the movements and everything that he does, like he goes through and he kind of like cowers through the levels, or he points his flashlight somewhere and his hand's kind of shaky. They do a really good job with capturing the overall tone and the theme of the game. and really creating that sense of fear that Luigi experiences without it being too scary. I mean, it's still a Nintendo product. They're only going to make it so scary, but it really does feel spooky knowing that there are different ghosts running around this. I think you're in a hotel in this one, whereas other games you're either in a mansion or an abandoned house or something like that. But in this one, you're running through a hotel with various levels, and there are ghosts everywhere. So it's got kind of like a Ghostbusters kind of feel, and that you got to capture the ghosts. But then again, it's Luigi, and he's paralyzed by fear almost, but he finds the courage to still act and do what's necessary to save his friends. So it's a really cool game. I'm really enjoying it. And if you've not played a Luigi's Mansion game before, I highly recommend this one. It's absolutely beautiful. And I'm just playing it on a standard first edition Nintendo Switch, not even an OLED model, not even the Switch 2. And on the bare bones Switch, it looks beautiful in handheld mode. So, highly recommend this game. Definitely recommend you pick it up and play it if you haven't. And another beautiful game, this is Yoshi's Crafted World. So this game here, it's Yoshi. So I remember playing the Yoshi games on Nintendo 64, so Yoshi's Story. And they're known for being very bright and sunny and colorful, and this one is true to that too. So you've got kind of like a picture book or a board game sort of two-dimensional plane that you're playing on, but with 3D graphics. I guess that's like a 2.5D or whatever they call it, but it's an awesome game. Now, the criticism with this one is it's a little bit on the easier side, and I don't care. I mean, after playing games like Elden Ring and the Dark Souls and other stuff out there, Sekiro, I'm completely fine with easy. It's a good way to kind of bide my time. It's a palate cleanser, so sometimes we just need to take a pause and have some easier games. Now, this one, I haven't gotten too far into it. I'm maybe a third of the way through it. But it's really fun how you can unlock the different colors of Yoshi. You know, you can play as the traditional green one, yellow, blue, red, you know, whatever. And then there's costumes, too, that you can dress your Yoshi in, which really makes it fun to run around and see Yoshi dressed up either as like a pirate or, you know, in a cardboard box that looks like a Mario Kart race car. So it's a lot of fun in that respect. Now, like I mentioned with this here, this game has kind of flown under the radar a little bit. Not too many people talk about it, but it's definitely worth picking up if you can find it at a good price. And I think you'll have a lot of fun with it as well. Next up, Splatoon 2. So I know Splatoon 3 has come out recently in the last year or so, and a lot of people play that and love that. I actually haven't experienced Splatoon 3 yet. I still just play this OG copy of Splatoon 2. But if you've never played Splatoon, these games, think of like it's kind of like capture the flag, but what you're doing is you're spraying your paint. And it's not so much you're trying to shoot the enemies that you're playing against. You certainly can. And if you shoot your enemy, they are basically frozen out of the game for like 5 or 10 seconds or something before they respawn. So it allows you time to go ahead and put more color on the map. But again, the whole premise is you're trying to take your paint guns or paint rollers or paint devices, whatever you have in your arsenal, and color up as much of the map as you can with your team's color of paint. And I really love what they did here. Like, it's such a creative way to kind of play against opponents, capture the map. The color, it looks beautiful, like everything in this game. It reminds me of like the GAC, or the Gap, I should say, whatever it's called, from Nickelodeon back in the day. It's like that ooze that kind of comes out at you and stuff on the shows. It looks a lot like that. And it's just very vibrant, very colorful. And there's a lot of different strategy in there where as you play more, you're able to unlock more types of weapons. And, you know, do I want to use a roller? Do I want to use a single, you know, shot paint gun? Do I want to use something that's like a semi-automatic paint sprayer? So it's really fun to play that through. And it's cool in that you have to recharge your paint every so often because you're going to eventually run out of paint just like you run out of ammo. So you become like a little squid and you go down to the paint and you refill, recharge your paint gun that way. And then you can go back against your enemies and start spraying everyone and join back in the battle. So it's a lot of fun. There's also like grenades you can throw too, like paint grenades that can splash on everybody and like wipe out your enemies. So I really like this game. I'm sure I would love Splatoon 3 whenever I get around to playing it. But honestly, I'm still having so much fun with Splatoon 2. And I feel like this game is cheap enough in price. If you can pick it up, it is a great time. So it does have a single player campaign mode to it. I've not gotten too far into that. I've heard that you can knock it out in a day if you just commit to it. I spent a lot of time playing the multiplayer for this, and the servers are still up and running. There's still people actively playing Splatoon 2, even though the third game is out. So it still has a pretty active community. If you can pick this up again, I highly recommend it if you can get it at the right price. Next, a game that's probably going to surprise a lot of you. This is Clubhouse Games 51 Worldwide Classics. So this was a game that during the pandemic, COVID-19, it was highly sought after. It was sold out everywhere you looked, whether it was in stores, GameStop, Amazon, whatever. Recently is a loose term, the last year or so, it came back in stock online on Amazon or eBay. I can't remember which one it was, but somewhere online I found it, brand new, pulled the trigger and got a copy for $40. Now, when I opened it up to capture this game footage, I was expecting just a general run-of-the-mill kind of, board game collection of what you remember from being a kid that would be packed into here. So I was expecting to play games like checkers, chess, rummy, backgammon, Go Fish, stuff like that. Now, don't get me wrong, those games are in there, but there's so much more. Like, it blew me away how much more was packed into here. So, for example, not only do you have like the traditional card games that we remember, like Solitaire, Texas Hold'em, Blackjack. There's those games in there too. There's also like Chinese checkers, regular checkers, chess. But then you have games like the car racing game and a fishing game. And there's like different types of puzzles where you have to guide a turtle through the map and change the pieces in the direction they're going before the turtle moves onto it. And then there's other stuff going on too, like a Connect 4 and just so much happening here. There's even a piano where you can just go in and start playing notes on your own and make little bits of music. So this game had a lot packed into it. And what was cool is that as you play more of it, each game has sort of special challenges, if you will. So like beat the game on normal difficulty or beat the computer on normal setting. You unlock like a me type of character that appears. Now, I don't know yet what they do, like if you just can play as them or play against them or get your friends involved and then you have more people that you could choose to play as for your custom me. I'm not really certain, but as you unlock different things, there's like different trophies that you can unlock too. So like my first time playing Texas Hold'em, I basically ran the table and just knocked everybody out, and I ended up unlocking some gold trophy for completing all the objectives right there on my first playthrough of Texas Hold'em. So it was pretty cool to see that. Now, again, it's still not like a PlayStation or Xbox system where you have the trophy system where the achievements flash up and it keeps track of your score. Maybe Nintendo releases that or announces that in a future patch update, because that'd be, I think, a very welcome addition to Nintendo communities. But still, I had a lot of fun with these games. There's other stuff too, like Mancala and some memory games and target practice stuff. So this had a lot of depth to it. I see now why this was highly sought after during the pandemic, because again, whether you're trying to play by yourself with 51 games, or if you have family members, friends online that you want to play with as well, this just has so much to offer packed in. And again, $40 or whatever brand new for 51 games, honestly, it's a steal in my opinion. So again, Clubhouse Games, highly recommend this if you could pick it up. It only got a physical release on the Nintendo Switch. So this next game, it's interesting. It's kind of a hybrid in that part of it was released previously on the Wii U, but then part of it is exclusive to the Nintendo Switch. So that's Super Mario World 3D, or Super Mario 3D World, excuse me, plus Bowser's Fury. So the Bowser's Fury part is the game that was the Nintendo Switch exclusive. So basically, Super Mario 3D World, it's your Nintendo Wii U game that, it's a 3D Mario game. You're running around, you're collecting coins, you can become Big Mario, you can become a cat, you got the Fireball Mario. There's all this stuff going on when you're running around the 3D world. And what I love is how at the end of each level, you can jump on the flagpole, which is like a nod or a throwback to the original NES game. Whereas you're completing a game, you run up the stairs as fast as you could, you jump onto the flag, and boom, do 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 do. You know, I'm sorry, Mario, your princess is in another castle, sort of stuff. So I love that they did that. Now, the real reason that I was excited to play this game was for the Bowser's Fury part, which everything I've heard about, everything I've read, I've just heard nothing but great things about that game and how it's outstanding. And I didn't get to play it for too much time capturing this game footage, but the little bit of time that I did put in, I gotta say I agree. First off, it's a beautiful game. Bowser looks very like menacing and intimidating, and he's not as cartoony or campy as some of the other iterations of Bowser is. He really seems like menacing and like troubled and like really angry about something, hence the Bowser's Fury title. And you're running around and there's just very dark overtures in the game. Everything looks kind of like the world is about to be destroyed sort of thing, and you're the last hope to save it. So I'm looking forward to spending more time with both of these games, but I'm really excited to dive deeper into Bowser's Fury. Next up, so this game was released on multiple platforms digitally, but the only place where you can get this physical copy is right here on Nintendo Switch. And this is called Live Alive or Live Alive or Live Alive. I'm pretty certain it's Live Alive based on everything I've looked up on the internet, but I'll let you call it whatever you want to call it. So, from my understanding, this game was originally supposed to be a Super Nintendo game. I think it was a Super Famicom game released only in Japan, never got a Western release. But what happened is, flash forward 20 some years later, and this game finally gets the Western release to our markets, North America, Europe, etc., but with a physical copy on the Nintendo Switch. So in this game, you basically play as a choice of 8 different characters, and you can pick any order of character you want to go through. But they basically represent 8 different points in time. So you have things like the Wild West, you have the prehistoric age, you have Imperial China and feudal Japan, and the present, the near present, the distant future, etc. There's so many different options to choose from. And as you go through, each sort of pathway has its own unique storyline. But then once you play through everyone's storyline, and I'm not going to spoil it for you, but somehow at the end, you see that all 8 storylines converge and come together. And they're somehow all connected and interrelated that you don't really know until you play through everyone's pathway and figure out what's going on. So I thought this game it was captivating. It kept my interest as I played through it. Some pathways I liked more than others. Like I really like the Wild West and I like Japan. That's kind of why you see them more here in the game footage than some of the others. But each character that you played as had their own unique strengths and weaknesses. And as you go through the game for the final battle and you're using, your team has come together and you find all the 8 characters together, you can choose which ones you want to use together in battle. So it becomes very interesting knowing like, oh, this one's a fist fighter, or this one's a gunslinger, or this one has more of like a technology background. You can use that to strategically figure out how you want to approach the final boss encounter. And from that perspective, there's a lot of different ways that you could approach the game. So I actually didn't beat the final battle. I either wasn't leveled up enough, didn't grind enough, or I didn't have the right combo of players. I'll go back at some point and beat this, but at the time I just kept getting frustrated because I was dying and I didn't want to put forth the time to really complete it when I spent so much time already getting to the end of it. So this game I have to go back and revisit, but in terms of visuals, it's a beautiful game. Very beautiful, great soundtrack, great overall story. Highly recommend this game if you haven't played it yet. And again, Switch is the only place where you can get the physical copy of it. Okay, and last but not least, we have a game called Game Builder Garage. So this game was only released on the Nintendo Switch, and it's not going to be for everyone, honestly, because in this game, it really focuses on the mechanics of coding and programming and teaching you how to make games. And what I mean by that is like before you can go deeper into the game and like unlock things, you have to go through various, what's the word, like training courses or like a program you have to go through and, complete part 1, complete part 2, complete part 3. And like everything builds on top of each other of what you learn and know before you can unlock the full on creative free play of building your own games, building your own levels sort of thing. Now, because of that, that's why I say it's not going to be for everyone. I put in probably an hour or so, and I really only completed like the first lesson or two. I really didn't get very far into it. And I saw the next one coming up. It said it was estimated to be 40 minutes. And I just didn't really feel like putting in 40 minutes just to kind of complete the next checkpoint to get to like another sub lesson of a larger lesson. So it's because of that I say it's not going to be for everyone. But I'm pretty confident that once I put through the time, or you put through the time, and actually spend it to learn how to code, learn how to program, unlock everything, it's going to offer just a wealth of tremendous replayability and creativity. So for that, I'm very excited about this game. And again, this is one that had been on my radar for a long time. Like I kept watching to see when it was going on sale, or, see how the stock on it was arriving, and whether it was in stock, out of stock sort of thing. It's one of those ones where it had been out of stock for a while, and when it finally came back in stock, it was like a $20 game. I just bought it, and very happy to have it. Very happy to see what else you can do with it. And I think the whole programming side of it is pretty cool. Like it helps you to really understand and appreciate more what developers do to make these awesome games. And just seeing how something so basic like teaching your character how to jump or run and what goes into it, I think it's really cool. And I think it's going to help, at least me personally, have a greater appreciation for the games that we play and love, and the ones that teams have pumped a lot of time into. So, Game Builder Garage. I recommend you go pick it up if you're interested in something unique that was exclusively released for Nintendo Switch, and that isn't one of your mainline Nintendo properties like a Mario or a Metroid or something like that. Okay, everyone, so with that said, those were the 10 games that only had physical releases on the Nintendo Switch. Have you played any of those? Were there any that you thought were better than others? Are there other games out there that are exclusive to the Switch that I should pick up or look into? Be sure to let me know in the comments, and as always, thanks so much for watching, thanks for subscribing, and we'll catch you next time.